All right, welcome to the latest edition of the FPL America podcast. This is David Smith.
Travis Hoig.
Brian Shesko.
Gentlemen, this is a busy time of year for everyone. If you have kids, it's the end of the school year. If you work for universities, it's graduation week. If you're in the Premier League, it's European play, and it's end of the season, and it's relegation. It's not promotion, but it's relegation. It's European spots. It's a title. So many things going on. Obviously, for those loyal listeners, you know that we did not record last week. Unfortunately, we weren't able to. That's just life. I wish we could say that we got paid to do this full time, and this is all we were doing. But unfortunately, that is not the case.
I keep leaving town, and these guys don't know how to work the equipment, so they can't just show up and do it. I've offered it many times.
Brian wasn't even in town. Or maybe he was.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe he was
you
back
were
in
in
town.
Pennsylvania.
Anyway,
so Brian and I were both out of town.
The whole thing.
So now I don't feel so bad.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. We are here when we can be here, and we love to do it. So here we are, gentlemen. There's a lot of things, a lot of directions we can go. I do want to bring up, just because it's a little bit of nonsense, I heard today, I don't know if anyone has paid attention, but the championship level in England in football, they had their playoffs over the past 4 days. And yesterday, Southampton and Middlesbrough finished their second leg, which Southampton won in extra time. Story comes out today, because I feel like this is a decently big story that people are going to start seeing. I just heard about it today. But there is accusations from Middlesbrough that Southampton was having a staff member or someone who was representing the club spying on their training ground. I think they have pictures of him. I think it's been said that his name is, William Salt. Travis, correct me if you're looking that up. I know his last name is Salt. I'm just not sure of William. But anyway, supposedly this is a huge, growing, big thing. Southampton, I guess, has not lost in the last 20 games. Again, don't nail me down on that, but I think that's close. I think I've heard that stat. So the thought is, how long has Southampton been doing this? Or there's another part of me that's like, how much can you really gain from taking a few pictures or videos from the training ground? I mean, is that really pushing you over the edge? Man. I mean, I say that, and then look, here in the United States of America, we've had our own Spygate. Thanks, Patriots. The greatest cheaters ever, the New England Patriots. Always surrounded by conscience. Look, I got Patriot baggage. I'll tell everyone it's a horrible existence. Not that anyone cares, but I'm a Falcons fan, and 28-3 still hurts to this moment. So, anyways, but we're not here to talk about NFL or the championship. We are here to talk about the Premier League. A lot of things have gone on this past weekend or even the week that we missed. The week that we missed was actually very fun because Everton drew City in a fun match. I think, what was it, 3-3?
Yeah.
Am I remembering that correctly? City decided that,
like 2-0 at half or something stupid like that.
Yeah, it was absolutely. And if everyone remembers, Travis and I had a fun debate the last time we recorded. League Diane said she loved it, and I had a little rant about how City. Travis was trying to tell me how City's been there and they've done that.
True.
No, both teams.
And I was arguing that yes, the club has, but there's players, mainly contributing players on the pitch right now, that haven't been there. Yep. Majority. Anyways, so
both teams with legitimate gripes at the officiating in that game.
Yeah.
Michael Keane should have been easily red carded in that game.
I do agree with
Everton
that.
Should
Look,
have been
I'm not
down to
obviously
10 men in that game easily.
I do agree. There was
it was ugly.
Yeah.
Bernardo Silva with a bit of a wrestling move in the box, which we now know is completely fine. Anybody can do that.
Unless it's on the goalkeeper.
But no, that was another one in that game. But either way.
By the way, I did save a compilation of how for all the haters out there of how Arsenal has been wronged over the last 2 years. I found someone that has made that, and I know, and Brian, you'll probably remember last year especially, there was multiple times where Arsenal was on the wrong end of the stick or whatever we want to say, judgment when it came to things in the box. Now, again, I'm not saying that Arsenal players weren't grabbing over this past weekend. Trossard wasn't even looking at the ball and had two arms wrapped around someone. I think that should be a foul. Declan Rice was doing his best. Kai Havertz was getting blasted by Souček. And then, then Raya tries to grab the ball and he's got an arm across him with Trossard tackling the guy on like the other side. And then someone else has Raya's jersey and literally pulling down. The whole thing was chaos, honestly. I just wish the ref, before they kicked the ball, just would have blown it dead. Like, no, we're not doing this. I would agree with anyone who said something needs to be done in the offseason. I do think at the end of the day, I think they did get the infraction correct, but I will not sit here and say that Arsenal isn't guilty of doing stupid things or being physical in the box. Now, you can blame Arsenal. You can just blame the referees for not making the calls. I don't know how to do it, but in other words, I've coached sports for a long time, and when I used to play basketball, my coaches would tell me, hey, if the refs aren't calling it, then you just got to play strong and hard and tough. And if the refs,
tell my guys, play the game in front of you. That's all you can do.
Right. If the refs not calling challenges, okay, here we go. Then man up and make the challenges.
I was going to ask you about this at some point later in the show to give you your Arsenal opinion.
But why wait?
Chance.
7 minutes in is the perfect time.
Let's go right now.
Well, no,
sorry, I got to put do not disturb here.
Yank the things
on my camera.
There.
Here we go. All right.
But I do, there's plenty of talking points with that.
I mean, this could go really well in Smart Stupid.
Well,
and it could go either way.
Smart Stupid.
Can I start off stupid? For the first time all season.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't set my lineup. It was the exact same.
Yes, there is.
It was the exact same lineup.
Was that it?
Yes, you nailed it.
I can't hear.
I know. But yes, you did nail it. You had 8 buttons and you picked the right one.
Good job.
I made it purple.
That's fantastic.
I feel like purple's a sad color.
Anyways, so yes, I did not set my lineup. Surprisingly, I still ended up with an 80.
That's
and
what I mean.
the other stupid thing is I probably would have played Tarkowski. He was on my bench. He turned in a 15. And then I again, it's been a busy week. I still had a chip to play. I probably would have played my chip.
You definitely should.
I have a triple captain.
There's no question you would.
I had a triple captain left.
And I would just say if we had recorded last week and you would have said that, I mean, I think
right.
The opinion at this
fault.
end of the table.
So what you're saying, Brian, is it's our fault that he didn't set his lineup.
Reminded you to do that.
So anyway, I'm sure it's going to work out in the end. It's not like I'm not at the top. I've already lost my chance at competing for a mini league title.
Well, he probably would have put the triple captain on like Lissandro Martinez or something, anyways, right? So I don't think it's really going to matter.
Yeah. That is stupid, Dave. That is very stupid. It is stupid to not set your lineup. Although sometimes setting your lineup is also stupid.
Yeah, that's the sad part. Is not only did Dave not set his lineup, he beat me for the game week, and I played the bench boost.
Oh man!
Stop! I didn't even look. Is that's true?
It's true.
It's gotta be true. Otherwise, you wouldn't have said it. That's crazy.
It's so true.
I know it's been 2 weeks. Looking back through from a couple weeks ago, I mean, it's mostly stupid. But I'd just say bad reads. Honestly, the biggest one for me is the Dominic Calvert-Lewin Welbeck gap. Which I know it's not a huge amount. Last 4 games, Calvert-Lewin 3 goals, 21 points. Welbeck a goal and an assist on 15 points. So it's a goal difference, basically 1 game and a goal difference. It's still irritating because it's one of those cases where the numbers, the form, the historical data, all of it just turns out to be wrong. The what is a little bit like they both had obvious like positive.
You got to
points.
go with
It's
your
just only one.
You got to go with your gut, Brian. You got to go with.
I know, and I did. I backed my guy, and I was wrong.
You own him too, Welbeck?
I only have Welbeck.
I own
Welbeck as well. Yeah.
So it was, and I know most content creators talked about Welbeck like he was some sort of massive differential. If you're chasing, go for Welbeck. And I'm like, well, they had as good of a schedule.
I didn't see that. Interesting.
And he was assured starts, especially at the end.
It's almost 10% owned right now, even.
Ryan Cherky, I was gonna put as a kind of a mix. I didn't buy him. I kind of felt bad about it. It ended up working out in this.
Yeah, it
in
did.
the double.
He didn't play the second.
But and also
hold on,
Semenyo,
his last 3 match weeks, but last 4 games, it's 3-5-1-4. Like that's not great.
No, it's not great. Doku blew everything up a couple weeks ago, and
Doku's been the play.
And then honestly, Semenyo is just starting. I mean, even I think everybody that sold Semenyo probably felt really bad about it after he turns in. First of all, he got ripped.
I would have sold Semenyo.
Semenyo got ripped off in the Everton game, or 2 games ago. Part of the double game week. The first part of this double game week. No, the first.
No, Everton was last match.
All right. Okay. So they played. Who'd they play first?
It was Brentford.
Yeah, they had Brentford and Crystal Palace.
Semenyo, and I know Lego Mane and some other, there are other content creators. By the FPL's definition of an assist, Semenyo's pass was not significant. If it takes a deflection and is still gathered by the goal scorer, it's an assist. Semenyo did not get credited with the assist on Haaland's goal. It ended up being an unassisted goal because they said it was a save by Kelleher. You can watch that. You can watch the replay of that from every angle, behind the goal, in front, every side. Kelleher does not get a touch on it. It deflects off of another defender,
but still
ends up. It's clearly a pass to Haaland. It's a pass across back into the middle.
You
want
your 4 points.
I want my points. Everybody that had him wants their points. It could have been a bigger game week. I'm saying for him, Cherky. What I'm all of it that to say, Cherky's was such an obvious buy.
One of my transfers
didn't do it.
Would have been Doku or Semenyo to Doku.
Yes,
because Semenyo was coming off like 7 weeks.
Right,
of no
he had
returns.
not done anything. I think because Doku only subbed on today, Semenyo probably still ends up with the top. Manchester
he ended up with
City
9
score.
points today.
Yeah,
which it probably.
What did Doku?
Foden,
no, Doku outscored that. Doku probably outscored him for in the one game. For the game week.
Yeah,
either way,
he had 2 goals, all 3 bonus
Cherky
points.
was the trendy pick, and I was plugging. I was advocating that. I just did not do it.
Yeah, it was 11. He had a total of 12.
Yeah,
and which honestly isn't great. I think Semenyo tied him. I think Semenyo had a 3 and a 9. He did. So it would have been even up.
Spurs alive. Read that one.
Spurs alive.
I was plenty. I was ready to bury them just like everybody else did. And
I just kind of wanted them to go down.
I was going to say I'm honestly happy to have been wrong.
I was on record saying I didn't want them. I don't think the league's better with them down.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's probably the fair. I just kind of like watching a giant fall and some little guy getting a chance. They're going to come back right away. Right, just like when Newcastle went down.
West Ham or Spurs would come back right away.
Yeah,
are you sure about that?
I mean,
yeah.
So
are you sure about that?
I think maybe. I don't know. Okay. Brian, who was it? You read about 3 weeks ago. Yeah. Someone put together an in-depth thing about what would happen if Tottenham went down and the repercussions because of their financial situation. You do see other smaller clubs, i.e. Southampton, Norwich, did it for many years, up and down. Now, let's not forget this. And by the way, I wanted to open with this and I forgot. I want to tell everyone out there, I'm looking at the camera right now. If you haven't seen Netflix's, their documentary, I think it just recently got released, Jamie Vardy.
Oh, yeah.
Untold UK, Jamie Vardy story. It is absolutely unbelievable. I always Loved him as a player.
Did you? See, I was always annoyed by him because he was just a wind-up merchant.
No, I always loved how he was the ultimate underdog. This documentary is so good. They do an unbelievable job with it. He's totally open about everything. That season that Lester did was absolutely one of the craziest things ever, probably in sports, period. Yeah. He got the Golden Boot.
Yeah, it's wild.
It follows his story when he was when he was 21 or 22, and he had been told he was in the, he was in it might have been, it wasn't Swansea. He was in a decent club academy and was told he was too small. And so he just said, screw it all, and was working in a factory and started playing for the local club that was like in 7th tier, non-league. And then the next year he moved up to the 5th tier. And then the next year he got signed by like Fleetwood Town. And then he gets like, he's with Fleetwood for like 2 years, and then he gets signed by Leicester, something like that. The story is just unbelievable. It just reminded me of how ridiculous and how amazing his entire story is. Some of the demons he had to fight, and then how he was even viewing himself, and why, people around him are always like, you could do so much more. Why aren't you? And he always just expected the worst to happen to him, because it always had up to that point. So
Sheffield Wednesday was the club.
That's right. Sheffield Wednesday's club. Thank you. So go watch it. It's unbelievable. It's fantastic. You will not be disappointed. I'm not overselling this. It was awesome. The whole story. I mean, the fact that he ends up leaving, and then in his last game with Leicester, it happens to be his 500th game, and if he scores one goal, it's his 200th goal for Leicester, and he scores it in the last game. Of course he does. Mm-hmm. And 500 games for Leicester, 200 goals. They won the Premier League title in the most ridiculous sports season of all time. They also won the FA Cup, Community Shield, and then he also won the Golden Boot that year.
Yeah.
What a year. That's unbelievable.
I'd love to have a Mahrez shirt from that year.
A Mahrez, yeah, sure.
One of the best, one of my favorites.
If only we know a guy.
We do.
I do know a guy who could make that happen.
The last stupid that I want to highlight is just Bournemouth. Just totally read that wrong. Senesi, Truffert, Hill, all the Bournemouth defense. I mean, of course, playing a 10-on-10 against Fulham.
Not this guy.
Yeah. Great. Good job. No, I mean, look, it was template. It's one of those template for a reason picks, and I was buying their opponents more than I was buying them, and Bournemouth is just. They're on an absolute mission. Areola's on a mission.
Areola's leaving, supposedly leaving after the season.
Yeah.
So the players are obviously
supposedly.
He's definitely players are still playing. They know that they got a shot at European football. They at minimum are on a crash course for Europa, but I have a legit belief that if Villa wins the Europa League, Bournemouth then gets the last bid, at least a playoff, into the Champions League. If Bournemouth can get a draw and or a win their last match, Travis, can you bring
Bournemouth has Nottingham Forest away in the last game, which they will destroy Nottingham Forest.
You think so?
Yes.
Because Forest doesn't have anything to play for anymore.
Yes.
And Gibbs White is still concussed and gashed and whatever.
He's got a foot injury as well.
No. Oh, he's got a foot injury as well. Okay.
I have a target Nottingham Forest segment to come.
Okay. So, anyways, Bournemouth is, if they can get a point that will help them massively. They're on 55. Brighton's behind them with 53. Brighton's 7th in the table. Bournemouth 6th. Villa 5th. Again, if Villa wins Europa, 6th spot goes to Champions League, or at least you get the play-in game, which usually when the Premier League gets a play-in game, they're usually winning that game. Mm-hmm. I don't remember a time when 4th place didn't get in, because I think it's a two-legged game or two-leg series that they play with someone else, and usually a much lesser team. So. Yeah, Bournemouth has a legit shot at Champions League, which would be crazy. I don't even know if their stadium, would they have to do something to their stadium because I think they only seat 5,000 people.
Call Michael B. Jordan.
So, anyways, Bournemouth has everything to play for.
Yeah.
And they're not. I don't know, Brian. It seems like they've been stronger the last few weeks.
Gibbs White's injury is a facial injury, not a foot injury. I don't know why I read it as a as a foot injury.
I knew that he had gotten gashed by another goalkeeper, I think, going for a ball. It was one of those ones where, like, everyone's kind of waving people in. It was a massive laceration.
It's a Frankenstein scar
on the head.
It was amazing during the semifinal, the Europa semifinal, when he was getting up from the bench at one point,
and everyone thought he might come in.
To the point that the announcers were like, "There's no way."
Yeah,
like I know that the guy wants to play, but this
supposedly they had a mask for him, but
there's no way.
Villa,
whatever.
Yeah.
Glad he didn't. Yeah. There's plenty of other smart and stupid things that we could have highlighted, but those were the ones that were really glaring. You want to look into the rear view now? Really, all I wanted to say about the rear view, Dave, is I wanted to talk again about your team because it will bridge into the FPL part of the discussion. Here's the thing. Like, you already went into it a little bit, okay? This has to be the most irritating part of the Arsenal title run in this last couple matches.
Okay.
Is what?
I'm not going to... Well, I don't want to drag Atletico Madrid fans into this.
Okay.
But the gripes for Atletico Madrid are real.
Okay.
So you got to see every last irritating angle of Gabriel. More irritating Gabriel than has happened yet.
I should have figured this is where this is.
But I'm just saying,
you love him.
To me, the only stat that matters, which I understand that the calls go both ways. I understand what that looked like in the game, that exact moment in the West Ham game. The only stat that matters.
What would you like to say to Gabriel, Brian?
Just that per the account is Chompy at Luke Stanley 03 on X.
We definitely want to know what Chompy's saying.
Chompy says. This is not Chompy's opinion.
Okay.
This is Chompy giving some real numbers.
All right.
0 red cards and 0 penalty kicks given against Arsenal this season. How is that possible? And because I will say, Gabriel himself should have gotten red carded 3 times this season. Gabriel himself, 3 red cards. He punched Woltemade in the face.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what game it was. The game where he was on a yellow.
2 yellows, yeah.
He was on a yellow, and he came inner thigh high with his boot and somehow did not get a second yellow. And then the Holland headbutt. There are 3 red cards just for one guy. That if it's another player, you got 3 red cards. Then that's without like just the Gabriel red cards. But then knowing
Gabriel.
After Brighton, Chelsea, and Everton, PGMOL referenced 3 moments in those games, all 3 Arsenal victories, where a penalty should have been given for the other team.
That would have changed the result, potentially?
Well, it was 2-1 against Chelsea. The other 2 were 1-0 victories. I'm just saying
that their win would be a sham? Is that what you're saying?
The anger from other teams and the fans of other teams, it is not backed by nothing.
Okay.
It is just that, and everyone, like all the debate about wrestling in the box, the biggest thing I think for everyone, this is a 10-year debate. It's inconsistency. Yeah. Former host of this podcast would have talked about, I'm sure you could dig that up in the archives, to talk about the inconsistency of what gets called, what pool is enough, what arms wrapped around a player is enough to get a foul. It's been like this for a long time. So everyone's already been talking about in the box inconsistency. I'm just saying, when you start bringing in these other things, Yeah, I'm sure there are games where you could have done the same thing where you're like, hey, this game, Arsenal absolutely deserved a different call here or whatever. But I'm saying just on the face of it, you already had you have a clear, the moment I think that for everybody is defining is the headbutt.
Yeah.
If Haaland falls, that's a red, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
Right, maybe.
Probably. But or if at least there's some sort of like a reaction.
It was kind of weird. Like it was
they were both leaning in, Travis, right?
Remember? But it was clear that he was like trying he was moving towards him. I don't know that it was a headbutt, but I've seen it given.
It was almost like
for the same, right?
It was a move towards the player, right? So it wasn't.
I don't
necessarily
want it given, but I've seen it.
It wasn't a Zidane rear back and headbutt, right? But there definitely were head to head, and he moved towards it.
Right, but I'm saying
so. I'm not going to argue.
Aggressive head move toward another player that is headbutt like.
Right.
Or Butthead Like.
Very much was.
Or Butthead Like, yeah.
That's all.
No.
I am not. Yes, I have been plenty irritated with Gabriel all season long. I have never.
Goals, man.
I didn't own him for many weeks, but that has not been the case at this point now. I'm like, he's a fixture. He's an FPL team fixture. So it is not like part of me, even in the West Ham game, I was like, well, at least it was a clean sheet. But in the end, I'm like, yeah, but that was crap. Like this whole thing, 5-minute review, supposedly clear and obvious. Then you hear the audio afterward. They don't show the referee the angle of all of the grappling.
Have you heard the audio of the guys talking before they brought the referee over? They were talking about the grappling.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing was when the referee came over, I think he was so pressured because he knew how long this was taking.
Yeah,
all he wanted to see was the goalkeeper because the guys at VAR said that we think there's a foul on the goalkeeper. The VAR guy actually does say, hey, but we also think that there's some, but the referee goes, well, show me those angles. So then they just jump right into the angles. He cut off the VAR guys from saying, hey, we think there might be some other fouls. But I think it was taking so long, Travis.
It was the right call. It was the right call.
I think it was the right call at the end of the day. But
the call for a foul on a goalkeeper is the right call.
Correct.
But the total sequence of play is.
But even like sequentially when the fouls occurred, it still probably is goal. It still probably is a no goal. Like the net of all those things, if you take them in sequence,
well, it's Trossard first. That's the problem.
See,
yes, but the ball.
Trossard is fouling the player into the goalkeeper. It is pushing him that way. The ball's not. He's not even looking at the ball. The ball's in the air. That's before there's ever contact on the goalkeeper.
See,
that was the part for me.
I can see it both ways on that one, and I want that to be true, but like I can't. I don't know that that's clear and obvious.
But this is the point, though. That's why I'm saying the fouls are all over the place. That everyone can see that there are fouls all over the place.
It's true. I heard something that I would love to see them implement. I feel like this would be a fairly easy thing to do. You can't have two arms and two hands on someone else. If you do, that's a foul.
It would just be penalty after penalty after penalty.
Well, but if you do that the first week of the season, then it stops.
Yeah,
I just think that the pendulum
I agree.
will swing back the other way.
Something's got to
lose
be
their
right.
minds.
But and it's the same. The other part of it too is look at the chaos that has been created on every Arsenal set piece goal. How many times do they interfere with a goalkeeper? It happens constantly. It has happened all season long. That is the only part of it that is like it's look, I'm not. It's true. You play who's in front of you, you get the result that you get. It happens every season. You could go back to when Cardiff was in the league and Aston Villa was going to go down and Cardiff gets ripped off at the end of the season. In the season that Villa stays up, and it's like Cardiff probably should have stayed up that season. Villa probably should have gone down. But it comes down to an angle. They don't have an angle or something. You know what I mean? Like every season, there's something. The one that I didn't like. There were content creators talking, people talking about how it's so sad. Like, think of the lost jobs for West Ham. It's like, whatever. Somebody's gonna go down. Spurs would have the same thing every year. 3 teams leave. So, yeah, it's sad for whoever goes down. Like that, but so that's
and my whole point was it ultimately doesn't boil down to this decision, right? I don't like the inconsistency, but the inconsistency has been consistent, right? Like it's always been bad, and it's been bad across the board. And I'm not trying to introduce a narrative of it'll even out.
It sounds like you're trying to say they should just be bad on purpose.
What I'm saying is that it's just bad.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of arguments about, well, you know what? It's all subjective. There's no way to fix this. It's really hard for them. They can't do anything right. If they call it the other way, they're going to get blasted. If they call it that the way that they have, they're going to get blasted. It's a no-win situation. Let's just make the best of it. And it's an imperfect system, right? And and obviously I understand that. I mean, I don't expect the referees to be, perfect by any stretch of imagination. But if we're going to introduce VAR, we have an opportunity to be a little bit more consistent and to write the rules in ways that allow, to your point, 2 arms, it's a foul, right? 2 hands, it's a foul. And I don't think anybody's interested in that. It's it ruins the game a little bit.
The last thing I want to say, it felt like the TV broadcast had better camera angles than the VAR did.
Think so?
Yes. Especially after the fact. And maybe the camera guys were able to zoom in on some things and or single out some
happens
things.
Happens in NFL sometimes where they're like, how does the referee that gets a review, how do they not have the same angle that the TV does?
It
happens all the time.
I don't understand that.
That seems impossible.
It does seem
that does seem weird.
So, anyways.
Which just feeds into conspiracy theories, and that's the last thing
but the issue... but that's the point, though, right? Like, so with VAR and with, like, review technology, right, there are very specific points that are standardized within stadiums as best as possible, because obviously with stadium construction,
all of them are different.
But that's the thing. But there are certain criteria that you have to have for camera angles in order to be able to do that. Whereas with broadcast television, it's contract based. They can put stuff where the venue will allow them to put those, right? And so ultimately, you want the standardized views, right? Yeah. Even if they are different by venue, they're at least standardized within a certain set of criteria, right? And that's trying to introduce that fairness, if you will, right? So I get, they may have been a better angle, but ultimately it's outside the standardized, parameters. Therefore, it doesn't factor for me in that instance. So, like, what are the odds of that happening?
The other thought is similar to government work, where oftentimes the private sector has oftentimes higher talent or better talented people working in the private sector than oftentimes for government because the pay is better. And I'm just wondering, too, you have camera operators working VAR. If it's not the same, is it the same guy in like the private sector TV companies? Do they have actually better people, more talented people working the cameras?
Aren't they fixed cameras? I think the VARs are fixed cameras.
Yeah, so again, I don't know. It's a great question. But, again, I bookmarked this tweet with a compilation of Arsenal.
What happened to
Arsenal?
Now?
Yeah, I wish. Over the last 2 seasons, 2 of them against City, both times Bernardo Silva. Well, no, one time was Kovacic. And the other time was Bernardo Silva, absolutely studs on ankles in tackles and giving a yellow
I remember
card.
the Kovacic one.
Kovacic
should have been sent off.
Bernardo Silva
first
from
few
behind
minutes of the game.
I remember
Bernardo Silva from behind on someone. So anyway, it's whatever. I mean,
you would have won the title that year if he would have gotten sent off.
Exactly. See, it's like that. So,
yeah.
Look, I'm not saying that Arsenal's not guilty of everything Brian probably just said.
Well,
but
the most hilarious one of all is just the sideline antics, Arteta's antics on the sideline.
Yeah, they're
essentially
just very
standing, almost standing on the field. Like the moment that everyone highlighted from Atletico Madrid was the ball goes out of play. Arteta trying to be
Calafiori,
Helperton walking around trying, am I in your way? Oh, I'm just trying to help to get the ball.
He got carded for it. Yeah.
Well, but no.
But it was very slapstick.
Right, but exactly. But the moment was, showing, Arteta doing all of that, standing on the field, and then the next thing you see is yellow card Diego Simeone. Like that
they both got yellows.
Somehow he ends up, but just seeing all of that
because he was calling him all the words that he deserved to be called.
Maybe,
right? But either way, it's a
whatever.
Look,
honestly, I did
the haters. The haters are hating, not for no reason. That's all.
Look, I would love to throw.
I just want to acknowledge the haters.
I don't know Diego Simeone.
He
doesn't know me, and he could care less about me. But I will. Up until I saw his interview after the game, I would have said Diego Simeone gets everything he deserves from what I've seen over the last 8 years at Atletico Madrid. Yeah, I watched his full interview after the match.
He said a lot of nice things about Arsenal.
It was all nice things, and I changed my mind about him.
Wow.
Yeah.
He basically said they're the best team that they've played and that they deserve to win over two legs is essentially what he said.
Nice.
He had the opportunity to say probably whatever he wanted to say. And, at the end of the day, he's like they were better and they beat us over two legs. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah. So, yeah, we haven't recorded since Arsenal's going to be in the Champions League final. That's going to be fun.
I can't wait for them to lose that.
Who? Arsenal?
Yeah.
It's
a good matchup though.
It is. It's the last intriguing style matchup.
I agree completely. Yeah, I agree.
It'll be fun. I still can't believe.
I'm glad it wasn't Bayern.
I still can't believe Bayern didn't pull it off.
I'm glad
tactics.
Still couldn't.
I'm glad it wasn't Bayern. I'm glad it wasn't Bayern because we beat Bayern in the league stage, and I
wanted to see.
I wanted the guys with their last to play PSG because PSG beat us in the semis last year by 1 goal in a very cagey battle. So
you didn't take them to extra time and penalties?
No.
Not everybody can.
For FPL though, since this is an FPL podcast,
we're back to that.
We can drag this back. Dave, your team probably does have the best, and we'll just call this the start of Desperate times
for sure.
Your team has probably the best on paper matchup.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Fulham might have an argument at Wolves, but I think Arsenal.
Fulham's not playing for anything. I don't think. Fulham is in 11th place on 48 points.
No,
now
absolutely.
Brighton in 7th, which is very possibly a Europa spot. I think will be a Europa spot. So. Brighton's got on 53 points, and Fulham is on 48, so it's 5 points behind. I don't think that's going to be enough, especially because there's Brentford, Chelsea, and Everton that are slightly ahead of Fulham in points. So I think Fulham is probably out. But if they win the last two games, maybe they could end up on 54 points. Maybe you get Europa Conference. That'd be good for Fulham.
Sure. Dave, how do you rank your team's assets? Everyone already has Gabriel, 45% ownership overall, 65% of active teams, 91.1% of the top 1,000 managers have Gabriel. Amazing if you were in the top 1,000 without Arsenal's top goal scorer. That's not true. All of those numbers courtesy of Fantasy Football Fix, your place for fantasy football stats. To fix you, I guess is the way.
To fix you.
David Rea, Dave, popular but not in the tippy top. 35.7% overall, but only in 38. It only goes up to 38.5% of active teams. Only 18.1% of managers in the top 1,000 own David Rea.
That's surprising.
And then you have your smattering of the other players.
I bet that changes this week.
Saliba at 16%, Declan Rice 24%, Timber still in 15% of teams. Saka is big, but only in the top 1,000. 58.2% of the top 1,000 managers currently own Bukayo Saka.
I think for the last 2 weeks, Saka's a good ad.
I wanted to believe that
until
it makes me nervous, and here's why, Dave. Let me give you some Arsenal numbers, all right? This is Arsenal only. In the last 4 games, these are your do-or-die games. These have all mattered more than any games that your team has ever played, more than the Invincibles season. Points. Raya, 26. Gabriel, 25. Saliba, 21. Gyökeres, 20. And then some guys with, like, Trossard's on 16. Saka, 14.
Well,
tied with Eze.
But what was he?
He's not played the full minutes.
Okay.
However,
he played 9 minutes against Newcastle.
In the last 4 games, Dave.
And he played 0 against City. Okay.
Only Gyökeres has more than 1 goal.
Correct.
So he's got 2.
Right.
Saka's got 1. Trossard's got 1. Havertz and Eze, 1 each.
Yep.
Your team has scored a total of 6 goals in the last 4 games.
Yep.
1-0 to the Arsenal. You are hanging on that.
Mm-hmm.
Your top shooters are Eze with 10 shots, Trossard and Gyökeres with 7, Gabriel with 6, Saka and Kai Havertz tied on 5. I don't love that. Shots on target, Trossard and Gyökeres 4, Gabriel, Calafiori, Martinelli 2. No one else with more than 1. Eze, 10 shots, 1 on target.
He hasn't been great.
He's subbed.
The last couple games.
Odegaard's taking his spot.
I bet Eze starts next match.
Big chances in the last 4 games. Kai, Havertz, and Gyökeres, 4. How many games has Kai Havertz played? He was killing it in big chances before he got hurt.
Correct.
Calafiori and Trossard, 2. Gabriel and Martinelli, 1 each.
Martinelli hasn't
feels
played
concerning.
at all.
I know. So I'm just saying, here and I'll give you this one because touches in the opposition box. I'm only mentioning it all because only a handful of Arsenal players have 10. Okay, Gabriel, Saka, Trossard, Gyökeres, and Kai Havertz. Players with the most in the last 4 games: Doku, 48.
Right.
Shirky, 39.
Wow.
Semenyo, 38.
Yeah.
Holland, 25. Bernardo Silva, 24. Yankuba Minta, 23. Like,
yeah,
guys are well into the 20s when you get into, like, normal touches in the opposition box for attacking teams of, like, regular teams. And then you look at City, and they're into, like, the 30s. I'm just saying, you know who else has 10? John McGinn, Emile Smith-Rowe.
right.
Ryan Ait-Nouri has played 155 minutes and has 10 touches in the opposition box in the last 4 games. Like, and then, like, creatively, it's fine. Like, you know, Saka and Odegaard, 8 chances created. Trossard has created 4 big chances, which that's actually good. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that actually ends up translating.
Trossard has really, in the last 3 or 4 games, has really started playing.
I don't want to, I mean, this is no disrespect, but he's your Jota. He's your closer.
No.
I mean, it feels like he's the guy.
That's a really good comparison.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is a really...
You need something, he shows up with something.
He's almost...
No one else can do. All your regular
Don't start
guys
him
can't do anything.
because he'll disappoint you. But
Right.
throw him on.
He has been
just
starting
been like
though.
that.
He's put some good games together.
Basically, why is this not going to be total lockdown, try to score 1 and then shut it down both of these last 2 games? All of that to say, why would you buy anyone other than a defender?
Well, I currently own Gabriel,
right?
and Raya.
Okay.
I will probably bring in, I have 2 transfers because I threw away a transfer. Well, I didn't throw it away. I saved it for this week. But I will bring in one. I might bring in Saka this week, or Trossard. Probably Saka for the Burnley match.
You might need to go differential on that one if you care.
Both of those are, though.
Do you think
Saka is a little bit, but Trossard is super different.
Trossard is differential.
If you are confident in his starts, then I'm just saying, like,
the other issue is I kind of want to bring in Gyökeres as well.
Eze is only the only guy ahead of him in shots, and he's tied with your starting striker.
Yeah,
and Eze is iffy.
I actually probably won't bring in a midfielder this week. Now that I think about it, because I will bring in. I'll get rid of. I still own Havertz. That's a problem. I just realized that. I wanted to get rid of Welbeck this week to bring in. I probably will bring it. I might sell Havertz and bring in Gyökeres.
Okay.
And then figure out someone else for Morgan Gibbs-White.
Dave, I almost bought Calafiori this week. Decided not to.
Hey,
is he a total risk because of the Ben White injury, or is he too good on just sheer ability that you can't afford not to have him out there now?
I think he does have a triangle. Is
your team going to do what they did last time and experiment between Zubamendi and Declan Rice playing right back?
Yeah.
No. So
there's no way that happens again, right?
So that happened in the first half, and credit, to Arteta. He's like, yeah, that didn't work. So they changed it at halftime, and or shortly after that. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, they got Mosquera in there, and I think Zubamendi was the fall guy for that. But it seems like now that if Calafiori can go, he's going to go over Hincapié.
Okay.
And right now, I think the goal against Burnley will be to try to score as many goals as possible, and just continue to pepper them, because we're tied on goal differential with City, have a 2-point lead, and at this point anything could happen. Even though I do believe I'd rather have our games instead of Bournemouth and Villa, although I don't think City's gonna be playing a full strength Villa either, because they have. It's Europa.
Yeah, the Europa thing, especially if they win. City will win that game 10-0.
Right. So it all comes down to now Bournemouth, and so Arsenal have to go out and win these games. Like you can't not just play for a tie or play for, you have to go win games, and you have to go score goals. So Gyökeres, my brother has made fun of him all year, and it is true. Against the lesser teams, he does tend to pour in goals.
Flat track bully.
So
okay,
you're playing Burnley.
That's why I brought him in last week.
You're playing Burnley, and I think Gyökeres is a better ad than any midfielder this week.
Okay.
Although if I had to bring in a midfielder, I would feel fairly confident bringing in Saka. Again, this is the first time Arsenal's schedule is let up all season. These next 2 weeks where they only have one game a week, and then it's Burnley this week. They've had a whole week of rest, and then it's going to be Palace the following week, and then no one cares after that. But then it's another week until the Champions League final.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I can understand that. But as far as
getting back to your point, I would rather have.
Saliba is boring.
So yeah.
But an okay enough.
I don't know.
I would never advocate a goalkeeper change at this point. But if you were going to buy one. Like, Arsenal's like the only team that's left that I think could possibly keep a clean sheet in the last 2 games, if that's the way it feels.
I agree with that.
I absolutely agree with that. Timber is not an option yet.
Right.
He put out on his Instagram and or Twitter the date of the Champions League final.
Okay.
I think some people are reading into that. I'm going to be ready for that.
Okay.
So I don't think Timber's going to be risked at all in the next 2 weeks. If you want, I don't know if money's an option for anyone at this point, but Mosquera will probably be starting at right back instead of because Ben White. I think
no
Ben
way
White's done for the season.
Right, he's done for a while.
Yeah,
right.
So it was Ben White and Timber had been at right back. Mosquera, who's a right center back, I think will probably move into that position at Burnley.
Okay,
that was the change that they did against West Ham. The correction after they got it wrong the first time.
Essentially, the rest of desperate times to me is just the question of who else. I don't know if you guys care about this. Obviously, no one has 2 home games. The rest of the season.
That's interesting.
In game week 38, just jumping ahead a week, okay? The home teams, I would think you'd want to favor the home teams as much as you can.
I'm sure stats say that.
But game week 38, for example, I didn't look at 37.
Is City at home last
City's
week?
At home.
Again, it's possible that we'll know more before we record next, obviously. If Arsenal win this weekend and City draw, I doubt they'll lose. But if they draw, I think that now puts it at a 4-point gap.
It's over.
It could be over. If City draw, they play first against Bournemouth. If they somehow draw and then Arsenal win, then that Travis fast math there, I think that means a 4-point and it's over.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
So going into the last week, now that gets weird.
Because then they could lose and it would be all right.
Right. Now you go into the last week, and now you're resting players because you don't want any stupid injuries, right? If City win, now everything's still game on, and you just continue to carry on as normal because everyone's hoping and praying for a crazy result, a red card or bad tackle or something, and all of a sudden Arsenal's down to 10 men, and they're playing Palace, even though Palace has their B team out there, and Palace's B team has a goalkeeper that's playing out of his mind.
What happens if Raya gets injured?
Right, something's right.
Because you guys have only really lost with, like really lost with Kepa.
That's true.
Right? That would be crazy.
In game week 38, Liverpool, Manchester City, Nottingham Forest, Brighton, Fulham, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Tottenham, Burnley, and Sunderland are your home teams. According to 5-Star Gaming Media, a sports betting website, which I don't use for sports betting, but they did pull some really good data comparing game week 38 to the remainder of the season.
Okay.
From 1995 on.
Okay.
So once the Premier League went to a 20-team
we got 30 years of stats.
Game week 38 has had, and this is nothing new. Game week 38, everyone will talk about, is it truly a goal fest? Is there more goals? There's tons of articles about that. But this was I think bigger data than most that I've ever seen. 14% increase in goals overall.
Okay.
A 10% increase in both teams scoring. 7% increase in over 1.5 goals. 15.9% increase in over 2.5 goals. A 30% increase over 3.5 goals.
Wow.
And a 13.3% increase in home wins.
13% home wins.
And then an 18% decrease in draws. Okay?
Okay. Interesting.
Huge increase in the number of, overall, the increase in at least 2 goals.
City is going to rail Villa probably last game.
Yes.
They're at home. Spurs are at home against Everton, although Everton will be playing for...
Yeah, Everton's going to...
Everton will be playing for European spots, so Everton's going to be guns a-blazing.
Yes, for sure.
That's going to be a fun game.
Game week 37 will probably have a lot to say about, because some of these teams, the long shot, like Chelsea and Everton, are kind of a long shot for 6th place or whatever. So it depends on
Everton on 49 points, Brighton in 7th place on 53.
If Brighton wins,
and they're 2 points behind. They're tied with Chelsea. Everton, Chelsea tied on 49.
Right.
Brentford 51. Brighton 53. Brighton
Chelsea
in 7th place.
Yeah.
Brighton would have to lose though.
Right, and that's what I mean.
Brighton's playing Leeds.
They just need to win one.
Right.
In order
they're
to
at Leeds.
Yeah, Brighton needs to win
lock
one.
everyone.
And then they're home last week.
And then they're home. Right. So this is what I'm saying. To me, some of the shakeout of this for the last week of the season.
Brighton's home to United last week.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one.
I think that's okay. If Brighton still has something to play for,
give me a captain.
Manchester United does not.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, you're right.
They're locked into Europe at this point, so.
Yeah.
But Carrick has them fighting, Brian.
Not really.
Really.
The most.
I mean, it took a handball to beat us.
Sunderland draw is like, what the heck?
That might have been the surprise of the weekend, honestly.
I just want to make first of all, before we talk about players, I just want to make a complete and total case against Chelsea.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, hold on. Is there anyone out there that would actually make a case for Chelsea?
Well, a lot of people have Joao Pedro.
Fine.
Some people held on. Well, I do.
Really?
You're crazy, but you're also first place in our mini league.
I should not have had him. I've already said that.
Travis, that is one of the questions. Like, you're in first place and you have Joao Pedro? How?
Game weeks 20 to 29. So beginning of the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Chelsea's still in pretty good form. They're playing normal playing overall. Things are still okay for them. They're in the probably top 4 at that point.
Yeah.
Joao Pedro, 14 big chances, which was number 1 overall in those weeks.
Okay.
8 goals, 6 assists, absolutely rolling. Cole Palmer, 8 big chances, 6 goals, 1 assist. A fine option. I know some of those were in bunches, but whatever. Enzo, 4 big chances, 3 goals, 2 assists. Like even those players, like everybody kind of like find to choose. Like you're crazy at that point to not have Joao Pedro, whatever. Game week 30, form goes off a cliff. Since game week 30, Joao Pedro, 1 big chance, 1 goal, no assists. To be fair, he did get stomped by Frimpong against Liverpool.
I think he deserved it, though.
Could have gotten at least an FPL return if Cole Palmer can kick right, which that's up in the air.
Right.
Have you guys seen the Dele Alli comparisons between Cole Palmer?
No.
They've even done like AI where Cole Palmer has dreads and a little Van Dyke going.
Oh.
It's outrageous.
Oh boy.
Anyways, that was kind of interesting.
Seen that.
Just how his form, how Dele was so good, and then he just fell off, and how Cole Palmer is exactly the same right now, stats wise.
Wild. Palmer, same. 1 big chance, no goals, 1 missed penalty kick, no assists. Enzo, the one guy who's getting anything, 3 big chances, but still just the 1 goal. 8 total big chances since game week 30 for the Chelsea team.
Wow.
3 for Enzo, and then 5 other guys have 1 each.
Wow.
I mean, not to mention, so Tottenham, 3 total days after the FA Cup final, which means 2 rest days.
Yeah.
I don't care if their final 2 are green. I don't care if Tottenham home and Sunderland away. I don't care what color it is. I don't want anything. I don't want any of them. I shouldn't have had them in the first place. I'm mad at myself for even going that way, getting suckered into it by bus teams from people who are higher ranked. Whatever. Anyway,
all right, I'm just saying. Well, hold on. You'd already mentioned 1 team. You mentioned some target teams. So
I also wanted to make a mostly case against Aston Villa.
Okay, so all right, so I want to throw out there, and then you can tell me how right or wrong. You'd already alluded to Forest being possibly a target team.
Feels like it.
Okay, target team meaning
as of the last, just knowing that in their most desperate game that they've had this season, the one that has mattered the most was that semifinal
at Villa
against Villa, and they got
throttled,
smashed. Yeah,
I mean, and it fell apart
quick. It
fell apart horribly, and they are really injured.
Right. So Forest,
a lot of issues.
Forest target team. No, target team again, meaning
anyone playing them.
Anyone playing them. Thank you, Travis.
Yeah.
So Forest, probably fair to put Chelsea in there, maybe.
I'm saying I don't want my transfer out. I want to see what I have as far as where Joel Pedro can go.
Okay.
So if that
I did see Reece James make a cameo in their last game.
That is helpful.
Fofana look back.
I was gonna say because this eventually ended up being a Liverpool. It was kind of a
it
Liverpool.
was Colwill. It was
ended
Colwill.
up being a Liverpool question because that was a match that seemed like it kind of mattered for both teams. You end up with 1-1. Cole Palmer scores in the second half, but it's ruled out for offside.
As does Cody Gakpo.
So right, but either way, I don't even know what you make of that game. I did not watch it. So
it was just a lot of just back and forth. It just looked like two teams that were reeling, right? Yeah. Chelsea looked pretty organized for a team under an interim manager, which is good. Liverpool didn't look organized, but when they did get opportunities, they outclassed them. So
Liverpool with a manager that's out of his depth.
I mean that sure seems like the case there.
Because my mostly case against Aston Villa starts with Liverpool. They are home to Liverpool. You're at Liverpool. Are they at you, or
in 37 here?
Yeah,
they're
is
at Villa.
So Liverpool is at Villa. I don't know how good that actually is. Do you feel strongly one way or the other about it? Yeah, it's a Friday game. It's 4 days afterward is the Europa League final.
Yeah, I think Villa is going to not care too much about it. I think they'll give some guys a run out.
They are not guaranteed. They can lose top 4.
Yeah, but they will go into 5. They want a trophy, and I think they're gonna go for Europa. I mean,
so yes. You say 4 days after?
Yes. So
4 days after
4
this
days
match.
after Liverpool is the Europa League final. There is certainly some kind of
4 days
rotation.
is a decent.
They're going to give.
I would guess that
they're going to give their guys a run out.
But what I'm saying
that's
is,
where
I'm
I'm
saying
they would
that
start most their guys and then rest 5 of them.
It's that the Liverpool
and
game,
pull them earlier.
Yeah.
Not only your team as disorganized and not great playing against an Aston Villa team that really does kind of need a result. If it's their chance at a
they
good
need to
result,
go in comfortable. Yeah,
that will then protect their
it's
top
also their
5.
last home game, and their home fans want to see them play.
And
that's true.
They obviously want to stay tight for the Europa League final. But then, what I'm saying is, 3 days after that, after the Europa League final, is the away game to Manchester City. So I'm saying
they want to win this one because they're not going to win the next one.
If they win that final.
It doesn't matter.
It's a drunken team.
Who are they even playing?
We'll play at Manchester City for nothing. City will win 10-0. I'm saying that's not that their players are.
Maybe I do need to save my triple captain, but then who's even going to be starting for City that last match?
It's not going to matter. I think by then we're going to know that it's not going to matter. So
maybe
he's betting on Bournemouth to get a result against Manchester
Bournemouth
City.
might get a result.
I'm saying that for Villa, though, it's not that their players are bad picks against
City has
Liverpool.
very little experience in their team.
It's not that their players are bad for Liverpool. It's just I don't trust them for both of the remaining games. So I'm just saying that's the case against Villa.
And then the other one is
I see a lot of people buying Ollie Watkins. You could talk me into Morgan Rogers. You might talk me into John McGinn, who's their hero here at the end of the season. I'm just saying there's no...
John McGinn is a guy who doesn't have an off switch. If he's on the field, he's like he's kind of like a James Milner, where he's kind of like a locker room dad, and he never, if he's on the field, he only has an on and off, and there's nothing in between.
It's just every time I see him running down the field, I just want someone to shout, "Hey, you guys," because he reminds me of Sloth so much. I don't know why, but he just does. I don't know if it's the shape of his head.
I didn't expect a Goonies reference.
The shape of his head or what it is, but he just reminds me of Sloth. All right.
The safest purchases, because you're buying for 2 weeks at this point. You're not buying unless you have a ton of transfers left. Good on you if you do. Arsenal and City, obvious choices.
Right.
Brentford, Brighton, Bournemouth, Everton, Liverpool, Chelsea. But I've already made the case against them.
No,
Chelsea. Again, I've made the case
Chelsea.
against Villa too, but you could throw them in there.
No, I think Villa is
and then
not.
Spurs and West Ham. Now, all of the differential...
Because they have something to play for.
Right. These are the teams that actually do have something where the you can kind of count on the starting lineup.
Yeah.
It is...
Who would you seriously, though, obviously, West Ham, obviously Bowen. You want to get differential, maybe a Somerville. And I'm not saying he's produced recently, but Somerville is always threatful.
Yes.
And then, but after those two West Ham players, I'm not sure there's anyone that I would say.
Mavropanos, maybe, but
that's the only way you're going.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's on
Travis. All right. What about Spurs?
Madison's back.
Well, let me give you. We'll start at defense.
Okay.
Let's go through some defensive numbers. Last 4 games, just among defenders. All right.
Pedro Porro has done.
Pedro Porro he's the top.
He's the shooter of the shooters.
Top for shots. Nico O'Reilly, Pedro Porro.
I knew it.
7 shots each. Gabriel and Keane Lewis Potter, 6 shots. Chris Richards and Dan Byrne, 5 shots, and then a million people.
Chris Richards got
5. Shots on target. Adrian Truffert, my favorite player for this season. I should have had all along, but whatever. 4 shots on target. Kadioglu, LaCroix, Rodon, Nico O'Reilly, Pedro Porro. 3 shots on target each. Second most, only behind, obviously, Truffert. XG, your highest XG players in the last 4 games. Truffert at 1.44, Keane Lewis Potter at 1.06. James Justin a 1, Nico 0.97, Malik Chow 0.93, Gabriel and Pedro Porro 0.74.
Goal threat.
Yeah, if Porro is matching Gabriel for goal threat, holy cow.
There you go. That's all you need to know.
And then chances created, De Kuiper, who I wish was reliable. De Kuiper, Malo Gusto, and Malik Diouf. There's your other. You want super differential. Pick Diouf.
The Diouf is on fire
from West Ham. 8 chances created for each of them. Pedro Porro 7.
Okay.
So second most in the last 4 games. Cucurella 6. Tyrick Mitchell, Matheus Nunes 5. And then big chances created, De Kuiper and Munoz tied with 3. And then a bunch of guys that you're not buying with 2. I wish Maxime De Kuiper was reliable. First of all, he's cheap. We've talked about him maybe once before.
He was a big preseason.
Kadioglu is cheap.
Kadioglu is going to go up.
But De Kuiper,
might have already.
Really good for Belgium when he plays for them. Extremely attacking, just has not been reliable for minutes. But obviously, when he's gotten a chance here, he's been a crazy performer whenever he gets a chance. Calafiori to me would be amazing, based on some of his. He was in that range just for a guy like on per 90, just because he hasn't gotten a ton of the minutes. But like all it's taken is Calafiori getting back in, and he's more in the box. He's more in the box than a lot of other defenders. He feels like he's a danger. He's just as dangerous as any of your other guys. I didn't think he was. Could you count on him starting both of the last 2? I guess is the question. Porro's already in my team. I mean, Look, people talked about it. He was unlucky this past week. If Tell collects his corner, when Tell scored for Spurs, he gathered it just outside the box. If Tell gathers that ball inside the box, that's a Porro assist. If Tell doesn't kick Ampadu in the face on a clearance against Leeds don't score in that game. That was one of the stupidest single things I've ever seen. Calvert-Lewin getting that penalty because of whatever, dude. Either way, Porro, like I said, Top for shots, second for chances created because he's on one side of the set pieces. That's going to change. I think he was on a lot. I think he might have been on. I don't know if he was on all of them, but now that James Madison is back, he's going to lose one side of the set pieces.
James Madison with a Grealish look.
Yes. I know one of the really popular transfers, and this is one of the most amazing things that I've discovered. You're mind blown. You guys are ready for this. No. This is the top stat for me in many years. Oh, you don't want your mind blown? Since 2017, because that's as far back as I can get stats on this. James Tarkowski, very popular transfer this week in your team. James Tarkowski, since 2017, has scored either 0 or 1 in the last game of the season every season.
Wow. Stat of the day, Brian.
Last year, he missed the last 5 games of the season with a hamstring injury, so he had no points. 2017 to 2023, 90 minutes in every game. In 2019, he scored 1. He scored 0 in every other game week 38 game.
Wow. So Everton likes to let the goals in.
A better podcast would have gone back and talked about the opponent, the situation, whatever it was. But either way, maybe this year will be different. But James Tarkowski, 0 in every game week 38 game, but 1 since since the year 2017.
So what you're saying is he's due, and we should start him.
He is the most due defender in history, given those numbers. He has scored a 0 in 7 of 8 seasons.
Wow.
No, 6 of 7. And the other one was a 1. Just wanted to say that. I feel like that was an incredible stat. Because
it's worth bringing it. It's worth mentioning because he's the second most transferred in guy this week.
Because one of the things I looked at was just, is there a game week 38 hero? Does somebody pop up? Every defensive, every year, you're counting on goals. You're rarely counting on clean sheets. So you're not buying anyone for clean sheets in game week 38. You're buying for the attacking threat, which is the reason why, like, going through the names where you're like, hey, in the last 4 weeks, and there's not one defender with more than 1 goal. There's not only 3 defenders have more than 1 assist. And that's De Kuiper, Senesi, and Tarkowski. Do you honestly think Tarkowski's going to get more assists in the last? I mean, maybe he will. You're not buying Tarkowski for his assists, though. You kind of could get Senesi for them, though, which is annoying. But either way, only 6 defenders have more than 1 big chance in the last 4 game weeks. Ricardo Calafiori, Adrian Truffert, Keane Lewis-Potter, Kadioglu, Virgil, and James Justin. And they've got 2. You know what I mean? Like, all of the people who have been really attacking through this whole series of games, like, some of them are still there. Calafiori is one of them. Truffert right there with those guys. Keane Lewis-Potter has been one of the most attacking defenders of the season. He's has had a couple flashes, but just hasn't been on the isn't somebody that you're probably going after. But either way, just wanted to say, I don't know how you feel about Virgil, but guys like Porro, Gabriel, Nico O'Reilly, who didn't play, today, to everybody's disappointment that has him. Truffert, like, some of these guys have just kind of been really consistent with a lot of this. And like we said, Bournemouth, I don't care if they can get a result. It's Manchester City. I'm not enthused about getting a Bournemouth defender for Manchester City. I am enthused about game week 38, them playing against a Nottingham Forest team that's going to be without maybe Ola Aina, probably Murillo, may or may not have Morgan Gibbs-White, like a team that's absolutely safe, that has literally nothing else. Maybe the home atmosphere, maybe. But even then, Bournemouth will have more reason to go after it than Nottingham Forest will. Like, it's more important of a game for Bournemouth than it is for Nottingham Forest. And the way that they've played in all of these games, sure, get them now. I mean, if you're going to play them, whatever. But anyway, that's it.
All right, question.
Go ahead. You want to talk about midfielders?
Yeah. Who do you have more faith in for the next 2 weeks, Cherki or Semenyo? No. This is a better question. Rate both of you, Doku, Semenyo, Cherki for the rest of the season.
Did Semenyo sub off today?
I think he played the full 90.
I thought he played the full 90.
I'm checking. He played the full 90. Last 2 games, he played the full 90. Again, Semenyo's first return in 7 weeks. So recency bias. Cherki has over the last 4 weeks. Cherki
second return. I don't know if you heard me.
Cherki 3-5-1-4.
Right.
And he did not. He had 59 minutes against Brentford. He had 11 minutes against Palace.
I mean,
but I do think that they were resting.
Right?
City were resting certain players. Obviously, Haaland didn't play today against Palace.
Clearly looking ahead.
They're looking for the FA.
They want the FA Cup trophy. Yep.
They want a domestic double. They want to be the Cup champions.
Of course they would love that.
Why not?
I agree. I would do the same.
Well, Dave, just on sheer numbers, Ryan Cherki is the only person who's ahead of him in almost any attacking category is Erling Haaland.
Okay.
Manchester City's attacking numbers, I mean, like I just said a couple minutes ago, across the board, they are by far the most forward.
Agree.
The most progressive of all the teams. The question is, how much do you trust them to start? Like, you would have probably counted on them to start both of the games this week since they're all important. This is the most important games. Cherki gets subbed on 59 minutes or whatever it was, like you said, and then it only gets subbed on
11
and gets
minutes.
to play against a Palace team that's quit.
Yeah.
So I think Cherki, they'll need him against Bournemouth. He's essential against Bournemouth. I think those guys.
So you would rank Doku. How would you rank them for fantasy points?
I think those three,
Doku,
all three of those guys have to start against Bournemouth. They have to.
But would Doku? So again, I'm not disagreeing.
I still would say it's Cherki,
Doku, Semenyo. Who's third?
I think
Semenyo
is
at Bournemouth is an interesting one.
Yeah. That's
going back to your old club is an interesting one.
That's true.
Semenyo back at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
He scored on the reverse fixture, didn't he?
If only there was a way, I will let you know.
He may have.
Quickly.
I think he did.
Either way.
Well, no, because he got sold in January. So there was no reverse fixture.
He still played in
it. For Bournemouth.
He's saying he played for Bournemouth against Manchester
Bournemouth against City. He did not. They lost 3-1. Bournemouth lost 3-1. He had no assist and no goal scored.
Dave, in the last 4 games, it's such a mixed bag of people and names as far as goal scorers go. Jack Hinchelwood now deciding to crush anybody that had him and held him. That was plenty of people on the wild card.
By the way,
Bournemouth
hasn't lost since match week 22 when they lost to United at United.
Maybe they have someone filming practices.
Bournemouth had gone on a 15-game no-loss streak in the league.
Jack Hinchelwood, Jeremy Doku, and Rayan of Bournemouth, who's one of your top, I would think, should be a higher target. I think the Manchester City match is probably holding him back from transfers in, but those guys have 3 goals each in the last 4 games. Then a bunch of guys with 2, Marmoush, Cunha, Harvey Barnes, Elliot Anderson, and Noah Okafor, frowny face for me, 2 goals each. Bruno and Pascal Gross, 3 assists. Dewsbury Hall, Alexis McAllister, Soboslai, Cherky, John McGinn, 2 assists. That's the most that anybody has in the last 4 games. Big chances, Dave. Jack Hinchelwood, 6. Ismail Assar, 4. Noah Okafor
has been crazy over the last few weeks.
Noah Okafor, 3. And then tons of guys with 2, including your guy Trossard, Tavernier, Minta, Ndai, Cherky, Dango Otara, Casemiro, Harvey Barnes, and Rayan.
Rayan's been good too.
Yes. Shots, Cherky, 18. Doku, 12. Sar, 11. Ryan Cherky, 18 shots in the last 4 games. And
he hasn't
Holland
been playing full minutes.
Holland is the only one that matches him.
Yeah.
A ton of guys with 10. Dango, Enzo, Eze, Gakpo, Cunha, Rayan. Shots on target, Hinchelwood and Sar, 6. Ndai, Gakpo, Doku, 5.
Rayan's last 5 matches, 5, 6, 8, 9.
Yeah, he's scored
That's
3. I think he scored,
matches.
3 in a row now?
He has scored 3 in a row.
Cherky, 12 shots in the box, leading all midfielders in the last 4 games. That to me I feel like that was a big one. Sar, 10, Hinchelwood, 9, Rayan, 8, Semenyo and Doku, 7. So it's Cherky. It's just what throws everything off is that no one wanted him to get benched 1 minute before he gets a clean sheet bonus.
Right.
In the first game of the double, you're thrilled that he gets an assist because you are furious that he's benched in the second part of the double. So the last 2 games, I think you still, by the numbers and by how important he is for these last 2 games. No, it's Bournemouth. They need to win Bournemouth. That's it. They will play the top. They will play the roster that has gotten them this far. So someone's getting subbed early in the FA Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody's not they're gonna. First of all, they're not losing that game. It's impossible.
Not against this Chelsea.
Right. This Chelsea's so miserable. It's pathetic.
Rudy,
and then
it's going to be like a sports movie. They're going to be
like
the
I just said,
and they're going to win.
Touches in the opposition box. Doku, 48. Yeah. 48.
Right.
Cherky, 39. Semenyo, 38. Bernardo Silva, 4th with 24. That's the drop-off for Doku, Cherky, and Semenyo are just dominant in there. And then Bernardo Silva, 14 less, is the 4th most. Minta, Rogers, and Rayan on 21. Tavernier and Iliman and Dye, 18. And then for chances created, it's Bruno, 18. Bruno Fernandes, 18. Ryan Cherky, 16.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and then Doku, 14.
All right, fair enough.
So Semenyo, if you were picking right this minute, you are not picking Semenyo.
Yeah.
Regardless of what he's done recently, and regardless of all of the complaining about he should have had an assist.
I feel like Semenyo's minutes ever since Cherky kind of came into more prominent role, Semenyo has been neutralized. Fair. And ironically, Semenyo scores today when Cherky was on the bench. Yeah. I want to bring that up. So, all right, Ryan and Hinchelwood, guys who have been really red hot. Ryan obviously home to City. Now City's not scared to give up a goal. They gave up to 3 to Everton.
Not. Right.
And then Hinchelwood at Leeds. And then last week, again, Hinchelwood's last 3 games, 8, 7, and 8. I mean, Jack Hinchelwood has figured out a way.
There is nothing about Brighton playing Manchester United in the last game of the season that should scare you at all. Okay. I don't care. And it shouldn't be gray. It should be green.
And Brighton, obviously, this week is at Leeds. So, again.
Also green.
Travis, Ryan, or Hinchelwood, if you had to make a move?
I don't think either is going to be an issue. I do think that City scares you off of Ryan. I did look at him briefly, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Just because City can keep a clean sheet. It just depends on if they're chasing the game or not. And I don't think they're going to want to chase the game like they have the last couple of weeks.
Bournemouth has enough of those. I mean, Krupi is a chaos guy.
He is.
Chaos guy.
He is a chaos guy.
So
that's what I'm saying. It kind of sets up like if City is City will dominate possession. They'll probably have 68 to 72% possession, and Bournemouth will have chances on the break, and they do have some chaos creators. So it's going to be that's what it's going to boil down to.
In that mess of midfielders too. I mean, big chances created in the last 4 games. Bruno 5, Leandro Trossard 4. So not that you need more Trossard propaganda, but he's been your best midfielder.
Mm-hmm.
He's been better than Saka. Why won't you just say that? Everyone's gonna get Saka. I went to get Saka
just because Saka's. Well, just only because of what I've seen over the last couple games. Although Saka's last outing against West Ham wasn't great, but he had been coming off the injury. They've been managing his minutes, and his ceiling is just higher.
Okay.
I know this. They don't want to. If he's got any type of issue, they'll just start Madueke, and they want him ready for the Champions League final. Not that this game isn't important. This game is massive. The next 2 games are obviously massively important. You got.
No, they're not important at all.
You got 2 fingers.
Underestimate your opponents.
You got
please.
2 fingers on one hand touching the trophy, right? You're not grabbing the trophy.
It's bad luck to touch it. It's just saying.
You're close to touching it. And so these games are massively important. So you have to go after them. So I just, I think Saka probably will start. But Trossard's form has been the best out of the midfielders.
I had him in. I was going to make a transfer. I was going to bring him in, but I didn't push the button. I'm sitting on it.
Yeah.
He was on my list before we started.
The guy, I mean, I'm not really sure what to make of Everton. I avoided Garner. I avoided Dewsbury Hall. The one Everton midfielder that I did put in my team at any point was Iliman Ndiaye, and he's tempting me again for these last 2 games just because, like I said, he
could have had 2 more goals.
He is all over.
He could if somehow Arsenal doesn't win the title, the fact that City didn't lose that Everton game with the chances that Ndiaye had one-on-one with the keeper multiple times is insane.
Yeah.
Ndiaye could have changed everything.
Yeah, like I said, not only, he's at least up there. Like I said, 2 big chances, but still he's on the list, for in the last 4 games. But the fact that he's, tied for second was for shots on target in the last 4 games. And then, you shots in the box, he's 3rd. He's 4th with 7, also tied with Semenyo and Doku. 3rd for non-penalty XG, which is great for the guy who is the penalty taker.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he's at least in the top. He's at least in the top 7 for touches in the opposition box. He's the guy that I think if I was picking, knowing that Dewsbury Hall is probably going to be the top choice, I think Ndiaye would be where I would go. I have a Noah Okafor. That's really frustrating, man. That's 2 weeks ago, whenever he was yellow triangled, that the morning of because they played first. When they played, I think it was the Burnley game, which they ended up winning 3-1, which is stupid. But I benched him at the last minute because there was a Leeds account that said that it looked like he would be on the bench because of some of the other players that they knew were starting. Okafor was not on the bench. Okafor finished that week with a 10 in my first bench spot. Prior to that point, he was in my midfield as my captain. And then as soon as I saw that, I was like, I can't risk him coming on for 15 minutes or something. So I just straight up benched him, but put him in my first bench spot, played Tavernier over him. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I benched that week because I had James Hill on the bench too. It was 20 points on the bench.
It's brutal.
Great. Thanks for...
You're real bad at this.
I hate it.
All right, let's move into night moves. Unless
the
Brian,
last thing
did you
was
have one thing? Okay.
Just that forwards are a mess of a position. Your Joe Pedro replacement, or my Joe Pedro replacement, is like 20 different weirdos.
Jared Bowen is one of those, though.
Last
so
4
fine.
games.
He's not weirdo.
Erling Haaland, 18 shots. Tati, 11. It's your second most for forwards. Ollie Watkins and William Osula,
who looks kind of useful.
Now you're starting forward for Newcastle.
Looks way better than Voltmata.
10 shots for Ollie Watkins and Osula. Igor Jesus, 9. Krupi, Zian Fleming, Beto, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, and Adam Armstrong, 8 shots each. And then Gyökeres, 7. Fewer shots in the last 4 games than Armstrong from Wolves. Dave.
He's getting goals.
Jared Bowen, only 6. My one gripe with Bowen is, again, he's your forward. I love that you loved when he's getting assists. He's just not getting them now. And he's not scoring any goals. He's not scoring them. He's hitting the bar sometimes, but that's it. It's not good enough. It's not enough.
Yeah.
Shots on target, Haaland 8, Igor Jesus 7, Tati 5, and then a bunch of guys with 4. Watkins, Thiago, Welbeck, Barry from Everton. Osula, Gyökeres, Calvert-Lewin 4.
Yeah.
Big chances, Haaland 10. By the way, you owe Erling Haaland an end-of-season apology.
Not yet.
He is crushing the end of this season.
Oh, yeah, I did say
he
that.
Is not. He
That's
has
fair.
not. This is a year where he has not faded. It feels like he's actually gaining steam.
That's fair.
Okay,
it's fair. I do have a important. Whenever you're close to done, and I do have a question.
Big chances: Osula and Calvert-Lewin 5, Watkins, Thiago, Mateta, Gyökeres 4. So at least your guys getting some big chances. And then just for XG, look at the names. Haaland, 5. Calvert-Lewin, 2.9. Watkins and Osula, 2.2. Zian Fleming, 2.19. Gyökeres, 2.08. Igor Jesus, 1.92. Krupi, 1.86. And then forgotten guy, who I wish he had been starting this whole time, Benjamin Šeško, 1.85.
That's true. He's been sneaking under the radar.
But all of these guys, and then for touches in the box, there's Evan Nielsen in 3rd with 18. Tati on 18. Brian Brobby on 17. Right. This is what I'm saying.
So you got a bunch of guys, all similar in stats.
Yeah.
So then you're looking at the matchups.
Yes.
Okay.
Where Gyökeres, that's the one place where Gyökeres can distance
and Palace.
himself.
Yep. I've already. All right. So let's move to night moves. I brought in. I took Havertz out, brought Gyökeres in, and then I also brought in Ryan.
Whoa.
For Morgan Gibbs White.
That is a hater move.
And I am absolutely
playing him.
I
love City.
Now,
to get
the crazy thing is this, and I know what I'm about to say and how silly this is, but take into consideration everything that's going on. Who's the better start, Haaland or Danny Welbeck at Leeds, Haaland at Bournemouth? The fact that it's even somewhat thinkable, I get it. In other words, I feel like it's not cut and dry.
I mean, Haaland is fixture proof.
He should be.
And Brian just talked about how he's on the ascendancy.
I know.
So
he is.
I still think that's a better pick.
It's just
that said, I am starting Welbeck at Leeds.
It's Bournemouth's last home game.
But that's because I don't have Haaland.
Bournemouth's last home game. They're fighting for Europe. They have the pole position for the European spot, possibly Champions League. Ariola's last home game.
They're going to give it a game for sure at Vitality.
So again, it's interesting to me that
That's wishful thinking.
That could be a thing. So just want to throw that out there. All right. So I told you about my moves. I'm actually benching Semenyo.
Okay.
I'm playing Cherky and Holland. I did not bring in Doku, although I wanted to. I do feel like Cherky has neutralized Semenyo. Like I already said, I'm captaining Gyökeres, vice captaining Bruno Fernandes, home to Forest. And I think I'm probably going to triple captain Gyökeres and shoot the moon here.
Wow.
It's either this week or next week. And I know next week, Brian, you would say that obviously you've already mentioned the stats, the goals. It's a goal fest. I just don't know. The 38 is so unpredictable. I don't want to get into that last match week and all of a sudden be like, wow, gosh, I did have Gyökeres playing home to Burnley. That sure seems like we've already noted he's a flat track bully most of the season. So, yeah, I think I'm going to triple.
Yeah, captain. But one thing we didn't touch on is Crystal Palace is going to be checked out too.
For sure.
So I mean they're absolutely one to target. I think either one would be fine.
So yeah, I'm currently activating triple captain.
Wow.
Save your team. Done. Here we go. Chips in the pot.
That's amazing.
I never hit triple captain, so this is perfect.
I love it.
Travis, night moves.
I have one transfer. I just don't know what to do with it. I kind of want to get rid of Morgan Gibbs-White. I kind of want to get rid of Morgan Rogers. I'll
definitely get rid of Morgan Rogers.
I'll probably keep both of them and just play 3 midfielders. And sit on it for next week and make some offensive moves for next week. So I'm probably going to do nothing with moves this week.
Captaining.
Jeez, I can't remember who I have it on right now. And I just got signed out for some reason. One moment.
Brian, have you made a transfer yet?
I haven't. I have 2 problems. One, Noah Okafor, red triangle, calf injury. The manager is saying hopes to have him available for the final week.
Okay, so Okafor's out.
So Okafor needs to go. I can't count on that even in the last week.
You don't love a guy coming off an injury either.
Well,
no. I don't.
Well, honestly, yeah, for sure.
Another reason why Morgan Gibbs-White maybe.
Yeah, and then and João Pedro again. I just don't want. I don't want Chelsea. I don't want their mojo on my team. I don't want it near me.
Yeah.
The problem is taking João Pedro out with 0.6 in the bank leaves me with 8.1. So I'm way below getting. I could not get to Gyökeres even if I wanted to. That leaves all of those names that I just said, which makes the buying of any of those people torture. Thiago, all of a sudden, like the stability of somebody who's been so good all season, getting a home game against Crystal Palace all of a sudden doesn't seem so crazy.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a good
and
call.
then they play at Liverpool game week 38.
Yeah, that's good too.
Which is totally fine to me.
Yeah.
Which is why Thiago's
even
if it's not many, it's the second most transfers in for forwards this week.
Captaining.
Although my other option would be just get and die now. Everton home to Sunderland. Everton's final home game in a game that they desperately need to win against a Sunderland team that has been good at home and does not.
I'm definitely starting Tarkowski.
Yeah. So I'm a little torn. And so, yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to go. But either way.
Captaining.
My captain will be either Saka or Bruno.
Oh, okay.
I will either captain Saka or Bruno.
My vice is on Bruno, captaining Gyökeres.
I don't love the way they played at Sunderland. I know it was rainy. I know they were down Casemiro, so that didn't help them.
It's true. He's been so good for them.
So I don't know. I'm not like, he's gonna crush them. I just don't. I don't think there's any guarantee on that. But it is a home game.
It's their last home game, and it's the Forest. So
and he needs to break the record, and so I
think it's all to play for.
So anyway,
Travis,
it's one of those two.
Did you get it back up?
Yeah, I had it on Gyökeres.
Okay, all right. And your triple captain's gone. Is that right, Brian? You're not playing a chip.
I have no chips left.
Okay.
I have my triple captain. I in the same dilemma you are. This week or next week, probably Gyökeres either side. Since you're going to play him this week, I might play it next week.
Okay. All right. I like that.
I have a problem because I can't do Okafor to end I. I'm point.
It's money?
I'm 0.1 off.
You're the dreaded 0.1 off.
0.1. Some of the guys we didn't. I mean, Dewsbury Hall's 5.2. He would be probably just fine in there too. Harry Wilson, 5th most transferred in. People rebuying Fulham because of the matchup at Wolves and then home Newcastle for their last game of the season. I get that. We talked about that a few weeks ago. I thought that they would do better against Bournemouth at home, and they did not. Stupid. Who got the red card? Joachim Anderson.
Yeah, it was Joachim Anderson.
Idiot. Oh my gosh, bad tackle. Yeah. Bruno Guimaraes is the other guy that we didn't really say anything about. I know he's a hot pick because got a return this week. What?
I'm just glad he's back healthy.
Oh, it was a 1-1 against Nottingham Forest. Bruno finishes with a 6 because of bonus points.
Yeah.
Guimaraes.
He was everywhere.
Bonus points and got DEFCON.
He was everywhere.
Good for him being ready. Hopefully ready for the World Cup.
The thing is, and so this is where you could weigh in on
he
this.
had been injured.
And to go to United.
They're home to West Ham. So Bruno's on that differential list. I think everybody, he's been amazing at home. He's, his home record all season, he's gotten a return almost every game at home. But this feels like a different situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Newcastle just drew 1-1 against the worst possible version of Nottingham Forest. So I don't care that they're at home. They're at home against literally the last truly desperate team in the league.
Yeah.
What's Bruno going to do? Score 20? Just doesn't. I don't know.
If there's anything this
Mark
podcast
that down.
can do,
Last thing,
mark it down.
You're not buying any of your guys. Your guys, Szoboszlai, you're not interested in.
No, I don't have any Liverpool
players. Would you do that?
I own Szoboszlai. I own Virgil still. Only because there was a point at which it made sense. It stopped making sense, but I had other fires to put out, so they've been on my bench. I'm playing them this week.
Okay.
I'm playing them both this week.
Very good.
Okay.
All right. Very good.
Szoboszlai's been great.
Gentlemen, great work. We have, maybe 2 pods left, at least one for sure, going into the final week, and oftentimes we'll do a roundup, or maybe crack some celebratory drinks. Maybe, Travis.
I mean, somebody will crack celebratory drinks.
Either I will
or me.
Very good. Maybe Brian will be cracking celebratory drinks, although you're in a lose-lose with Tottenham or West Ham going.
Yeah.
You're actually
That's what happens when you have more than one team.
I don't like it.
You're in a lose-lose. All right. Well, very good, gentlemen. Well done for the FPL America podcast. This is David Smith. Until next time.